Hi everyone, I'm JT Pilot, and today I'll be making another video. Today I'll be doing a 1 4 scale random model airport day for my New Orleans 1 4 scale model airport. This is the 5th random model airport day, and this is for October of 2022, and this will be the final random model airport date for the year of 2022, just because this airport day will be ending. This airport series will be ending for the year and will be returning in spring of 2022. So yes, and this airport date series will be soon replaced by a new airport series, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, so that's really exciting. I'll provide more information on that at the end of the video. Don't worry, this series will return soon. So yes, and today we'll be doing a model report day at New Orleans International Airport. So New Orleans is a major airport that's located in the United States state of Louisiana, and this is the main airport for the New Orleans area. So yeah. This is a medium-sized airport and it has a wide variety of domestic flights and some international flights. This airport has various airlines including Delta Airlines, Spirit Airlines, United Airlines, Alaska Airlines, JetBlue, Southwest American, British Airways, Air Canada Express, Breeze Airways, Frontier, Allegiant, and Sun Country Airlines, and Silver Airways, and a wide variety of cargo airlines, and has a few international airlines as well. So yes. So this airport they will be encompassing the brand new New Orleans terminal, which includes Terminal Charlie, Terminal Bravo, and Terminal Alpha. So yes, we'll be doing a new terminal in today's airport update. So yes, this is going to be a great airport day, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this video. So nonetheless, we'll be proceeding on to the layout on my 1/4 scale New Orleans model airport. Alrighty, so moving on to the terminal section and the overview section of my 1/4 scale model airport day, my New Orleans model airport. So yeah, so here's my New Orleans model airport. So this does resemble the new terminal over at New Orleans. So yeah, so starting off, we have Terminal Charlie right here. This is the Delta Airlines, Spirit Airlines, United, and Alaska Airlines section. So really exciting there. And yes, we got some new models in this airport day as well. So I was able to include some new models. Over here, we have Terminal Bravo, which mainly is Southwest, but there's some American Airlines models over here. And then over here is Terminal Alpha, which does have some low-cost airlines and some international airlines. And we got some hard stands right here. And we got the taxiways over here, including the runway right here. So New Orleans does have 2 runways. I'll just be representing this one of the runways. There is a runway that runs south to north or vice versa. So there is a north-south runway. But I would just be representing the east-west runway over at New Orleans. So yes, yes, New Orleans is a really cool airport. Yes, I've been really excited to make this airport date series, and today is a day at long last. So yeah, so now also we starting off with Terminal Charlie at my 1/4 scale New Orleans model airport. So welcome to this video. Alright, so starting off the Delta Airlines section at my 1/4 scale New Orleans model airport, and we'll be starting off with Terminal Charlie. So yeah, so Delta does have a great variety of services over in New Orleans, mainly mainland services, so really cool to see that. Yeah, Delta has a good presence over in New Orleans. Not as strong as Southwest or Breeze, but they do have a good presence nonetheless. So yeah, so starting with the first aircraft. So this Delta 747-300 ER will say is just arriving from Los Angeles and be making a return flight out there. That's Delta Flight 1306. So all aircraft in Starboard, they will have proper flight numbers. And yeah, except for one flight, which is kind of a special flight. So that one won't have a flight number, but the rest of them will have a flight number. So really cool to see that. And yeah, so yeah, once again, this 747-300 will be heading out to Los Angeles. That flat amazing NG model. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. Here, the highly beautiful Delta Airlines Boeing 757-Junior. So really great to include this model aircraft once again. So this aircraft, where do you think it'll be heading out to? He'll be heading out to Atlanta, Georgia, or Delta Flight 2981. So really interesting to see this Delta 757 service over in New Orleans. Similar situation as Norfolk and Richmond in Pensacola. Those are the 3 other airports Delta has been saying 757 just recently, and Charleston. So yes, those routes were once on A321s, and now they're all up to 757s. Really exciting to see that, and really cool to encompass that over at my New Orleans model airport date. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft. So we got a pretty cool service here. So here the Delta Airlines Airbus A320-100. So yeah, really cool to include this model once again. I haven't included this model about every random model report day. Delta's been sending a lot of these A320s out. So yeah, so this aircraft will be heading out to Boston or Delta Flight 2239. Moving on to our next aircraft. This Delta Airbus A321-100 will be heading out to Detroit. He'll be heading out to Minneapolis or Delta Flight 1085. Alright, so moving over to the Spirit section now. So Spirit does have a fairly large presence over New Orleans. They have these free gates right here, so really cool to see that. And yeah, mainly A320 and A319 routes, which is pretty interesting. I do not have an A319 model though, so I'll be using my A321 as well to represent a couple of flights, so yeah. Alright, so starting with the first aircraft. So this Spirit Airbus A320-200, that great Panama's exclusive, will be heading out to Detroit as Spirit Flight 810. Moving on to our next flight, here with the beautiful Gemini Spirit Airlines, Airbus A321-200. He will be heading out to Tampa or Spirit Flight 1821. So that's normally an A320 flight, but today this will be on an A321. This seems like a realistic substitution though, but Spirit does not have any A321 service over at New Orleans to my knowledge. So really cool flight there. Moving on to our next aircraft, the Spirit Airbus A320neo. That good Gemini model has arrived in from Fort Lauderdale and making a return to fly out there at Spirit Flight 1051. This Gemini's A320neo model turned out fairly well for being a Gemini A320. It still has some problems with it, but not as bad as some of the latest Gemini A320s, which there's been some terrible ones, but this one's not really bad. Gemini just released, and hopefully Intel will release a Spirit A320neo soon, and a wide variety of other Spirit models. I'd definitely buy all of them. So yeah, that's it for the Spirit section. Let's move on to the United section. Alright, so moving on over to the United section of my New Orleans Norfolk airport. So, just like Delta, United does send a wide variety of mainline aircraft. They're really, there's some interesting mainline aircraft over at New Orleans. They send about every single mainline aircraft they have, besides these 757s, which is pretty interesting. And they send some regional jets out as well. So, inconsistent mainline at its finest in today's airport updates. So, yes, yeah, so United does have a fairly good presence. Not as large as, say, Southwest or Breeze, but they do have a good presence, so that's good to see. So on the first model. So this United Boeing 747-700 will be heading out to Newark, or United Flight 1966. Great to use this engine model. What a great engine model right here. And this is a Continental Globe delivery. So I haven't used this model in a while, so great to use it today's airport day. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. So moving on to our next aircraft, the United Boeing 747-900 that fought an amazing engine model in that beautiful Evil Blue livery. This aircraft will be heading out to Houston George Bush International Airport or United Flight 1613. So great United Flight there and a great United model right there. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft, the United Airbus A319-100 will be heading out to Newark as well. But this time is United Flight 246. So really cool United service right here. And yeah. Alright, so moving on over to the Alaska Airlines section. I'm in New Orleans, Norfolk airport. So yes, Alaska Airlines does send the Boeing 747 MAX 9 over to New Orleans, so really exciting to see there, and we can finally use this beautiful Gemini model in a realistic airport update, so really exciting to see this indeed. So yes, this Alaska Boeing 747 MAX 9, the beautiful Orca livery, will be heading out to Seattle or Alaska Flight 751, so grateful to use this 747 MAX 9 model. What a great Gemini model besides the mold issues. And moving on to the final aircraft in Terminal Charlie at my New Orleans airport update, here we the JetBlue Airbus A320-200 and the spotlight to that great Panama, and yeah. So this aircraft will be heading out to New York John F. Kennedy as JetBlue Flight 576. So JetBlue does have a presence in New Orleans, not a large presence, but they do have a presence indeed. Alright, so moving on over to Terminal Bravo, my New Orleans airport update. So yeah, so this is a beautiful section for me just because this is the Southwest Airlines section mainly. There's some beautiful Southwest models in today's airport update, so yes, all these models are somewhat realistic, except for the state liveries. The state liveries did not come over to the airport on the day I'm filming this, which is Sunday, October 9th. So, yeah. Yes, but there's one model in here that did come in today, the day I'm filming this, which is the Southwest Maryland 1 747, which will be featured later on in this video. So, yeah, so now, so we start with the first set of Southwest aircraft. They do occupy both sides of this terminal, but the American Airlines does operate the end of this terminal, so pretty interesting dynamic there. But yeah, so starting with the first aircraft, the beautiful Southwest Boeing 747-700 in the Heart Lady Split Skimmer Wings for 963 Whiskey November. He'll be heading out to San Antonio or Southwest Flight 1808. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. Here's the highly beautiful Southwest Florida 1 Boeing 747-700 that great trim just released. Hopefully engine releases soon with these Split Skimmer Wings. I'd definitely buy that model. So this aircraft has just arrived in from Houston Intercontinental Airport or Southwest Flight 1250. Really interesting service there. And he'll be heading out to Washington, D.C. or Southwest Flight 1250. So that is a continuation flight there, so really cool to see that. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. Here's the beautiful Southwest Boeing 747 MAX 8 that great Gemini just released. So this is the second release, by the way. This aircraft has just arrived from Los Angeles at Southwest Flight 1350 and be continuing on to Orlando has the same flight number. So really cool flight there. And yeah, New Orleans does see a good variety of Southwest MAX services. Southwest has been getting tons of MAX 8s recently. They've been getting about one delivered every week, it seems. So really exciting to see that. And yeah, really cool to see the Southwest MAX fleet expansion. So can't wait to see the MAX 7s once those aircraft arrive over to Southwest. And that is all dependent on when the FAA certifies that aircraft. Hopefully they'll certify the aircraft soon. So we'll see the Southwest MAX 7s soon. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. Here's the beautiful Southwest Boeing 747-700 and the King Blue Livery Split Skimmer Wings. That great NG models released. What a flat, amazing model. Definitely one of my favorite models over there. And that's the first release, by the way. So this Southwest 747 stranger has just arrived in from Denver at Southwest Flight 883 and be heading out to Atlanta or Southwest Flight 2787. So there's that Atlanta flight. So yes, I believe there's some Atlanta flights on the MAX. So the MAX service will be realistic, but I just wanted to send that aircraft over to Orlando. So that's it for the Southwest Airlines section for now. Let's move on to the American section. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. So here, the American Eagle Bombardier CRJ-900. So we'll be moving on to the American Airlines section. So this American Eagle CRJ-900 will be heading out to Washington, D.C. as American Flight 5492. And this is a PSA flight right there. Alright, so sorry about this aircraft being a little backlit. It's just because this is a lighting situation in my camera angle. So sorry about that. And yeah, so this American Airbus 8419 will be heading out to Philadelphia or American Flight 1788. And oh yeah, here we got the beautiful American models. What a great shot right here. Yeah, so this American 747 Exchanger in with the new wing logos, that flat amazing engine. Definitely one of my favorite models right here. The wing logos are growing on me, but they look good to me, but they're still off line, which is kind of bugging me a little bit. But other than that, this is a great model. So this American 747 Exchanger will be heading out to Chicago right here as a Flight 2513. And man, look at this model right here. What a stunner here. Here are the beautiful entry models of American Airlines. There was A321 Junior in the flagship Valor livery or the Medal of Honor livery. So yes, I have fixed this model, and now this model is back in working condition. I say working condition, but the nose landing gear is now bent on it, and the front end is a little bent. It was very hard to fix this model in the Alaska A320neo, which both these models will be featured in the upcoming massive unboxing. I did want to include this model in today's airport debut just to have something different over at New Orleans. So yeah, so these models will be featured in Massive Unboxing 5, which should be out next week, so really exciting. Cannot wait to have the unboxing. That's going to contain all the new engine models and some of the previous engine models. I should get a replacement model for this model soon, so that will likely be in the Massive Unboxing, but the broken model decided to fix. They allowed me to keep the fixed models, so I'll be keeping them for my own personal collection, so really cool to have these models. And yeah, the Alaska A320neo turned out better, and the landing gear was way better on that, and there's no bent antennas. This model, unfortunately, had to suffer the bent landing gear syndrome and the bent antenna. Really unfortunate, but yes, otherwise, though, this American Airbus A321 Exchanger will be heading out to Dallas for Fort Worth for a Flight 1781. Great service here. This is such a great NG model. Wish QC was better on the bow, but still, this is a good NG model. So, once again, this will be heading out to Dallas for Fort Worth, and we can say that's in honor of Red River Aviation. I know he has some special connections related to this aircraft, so yeah. Look at this shot right here. And yeah, what a great shot here. So moving on to our next section, which is part 2 of the Southwest Airlines section. So yeah, so we'll be moving on over to the other side of Terminal Bravo. So it's on the first Southwest aircraft here, the Southwest Boeing 747 Exchanger. This is the first engine models released. And yeah, what a beautiful model here. And so this aircraft has just arrived in from Nashville at Southwest Flight 635 and be heading out to Kansas City at Southwest Flight 1747. Moving on over to our next aircraft here, the beautiful Southwest 747 Exchanger. That is the new engine was released right here. Yeah, so this aircraft is just riding from Phoenix at Southwest Flight 1624, be heading out to Dallas Love Field at Southwest Flight 2219. Alright, so moving on to the fitting Southwest model, which is the Southwest Louisiana 1 Boeing 747 that Gemini this model. Wish this model did come in on the day. I wish this aircraft did come in the day I filmed this video, but unfortunately no. But I just want to include this model since we're doing an airport update out Louisiana, so it's kind of goes along with the theme. So this Southwest Louisiana 1 Boeing 747 will be heading out to Houston. He'll be heading out to Chicago Midway at Southwest Flight 805, and he's just riding from Baltimore at Southwest Flight 2417. And moving on to our final aircraft. This aircraft is the beautiful Southwest Heart 747 with the blended wing. Looks like great Panama's release. This aircraft is just riding from St. Louis at Southwest Flight 2381 and be continuing on to Houston IH with the same flight number. So that's it for Terminal Bravo. Let's move on to Terminal Alpha. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft. So here at the British Airways Boeing 787-10. So yes, British Airways does serve New Orleans, which is really exciting, but they only serve it on the 787-8. So yeah, they only serve that route on the 787-8. I do not have the 787-8 in my collection yet. Just because the Gemini version is fairly rare, and I'm kind of waiting on NG to release it. I'm willing to bet you they'll release this with their new 787-8 mold. Might be one of their first releases, but I'll definitely get that model. But I'll just be using the 787-10 for now, since it's still a 787. It's closest aircraft that had to resemble this flight. I do want to represent this flight in today's airport update. So yeah, so this British Airways 787-8 is 787-8 cough 787-10. We'll say he'd be heading out to London Heathrow. I don't know where else he would head out to, but he'd be heading out to London Heathrow as British Airways flight 1965. So really cool flight number there as well. Alright, moving on to our next aircraft. Here, the Air Canada Express Bombardier / Mitsubishi CRJ-900. And yeah, so yeah, Air Canada Express right here. And this is a great Gemini model. It turned out fairly well for it being a Gemini model. Yeah, I can't really say that much for Gemini models now, but this is a fairly decent Gemini model. And this route is operated by Jazz Aviation. And this aircraft will be heading out to Toronto Pearson as Air Canada Flight 8678. Alright, moving on over to our next aircraft here, the Breeze Airways are ERJ-195. So Breeze does occupy one gate over at Terminal Alpha. Yeah, it's pretty interesting how they only have one gate over at New Orleans for a Focus-C, but pretty interesting there. Over at Norfolk, they have a few gates, so pretty interesting move by Breeze Airways, but yes, they do share these gates with other airlines though. So this Breeze Embraer ERJ-195 has just arrived in from Richmond as Breeze Flight 314, and it'll be heading out to Louisville as Breeze Flight 308. So sorry about the brain fart there. Really cool routes though. Moving on to our next aircraft, we got another fairly new model here. The Gemini Frontier Airbus A320 with the Poppy the Prairie Dog tail. What a great Gemini release right here. So this Frontier Airbus A320 will be heading out to Las Vegas as Frontier Flight 1963. And moving on over to the final aircraft over at Terminal Alpha here, the Legion Airbus A320-200. That great paint models released there. So yes, this Legion A320-200 will be heading out to Greenville, Spartanburg as Legion Flight 4802. So that's it for all the aircraft over at Terminal Alpha. Let's move on to some aircraft over at the hard stand. Alright, so moving on over to the hard stands at my New Orleans model airport. So New Orleans in real life does have a hard stand section, so really excited to see that. So yeah, so we saw the first aircraft. So we saw the first aircraft here with Breeze and we're at ERJ-195. So this will be doing an interesting route. And all these Breeze routes are operated on E195s, but for E190s, because Gemini has not released an E190 model yet. Hopefully they'll release a model that soon. So forgot to mention that. So this Breeze and we're at ERJ-195 has just arrived in from Charleston as Breeze Flight 319 will be doing a repositioning flight out to Baton Rouge in Louisiana as Breeze Flight 6482. So that's a pretty short flight there. So really cool to see that over at Breeze Airways. Moving on over to our next aircraft here, the highly beautiful Southwest Bend 747 in the King Blue delivery that followed amazing NG models release. What a great model right here. Love this model. One of my favorite NGs for sure right here. So this Southwest Bend 747 will be heading out to Austin, Texas as Southwest Flight 1226. Moving on over to our next aircraft here, the beautiful Southwest Bend 747 in Harley's Wisconsin Wings, or 7855 Alpha. What a great paint models release here. And yeah, and this aircraft will be heading out to Washington National or Southwest Flight 1180. And moving on to our final aircraft, which is the Southwest Bend 747-MAX 8. So yeah, this is the first Gemini release, by the way. So this aircraft will be heading out to San Diego or Southwest Flight 5655. Alright, so moving on over to some taxiing aircraft. We do indeed have some taxiing aircraft in today's airport update. So start with the first aircraft. So this Southwest Bend 747-700 will be heading out to Fort Lauderdale or Southwest Flight 639. Moving on over to our next aircraft here, the United Bend 747-800. That okay Gemini release. It's just an okay model. Hopefully I'll get the NG version soon. And yes, so this aircraft will be heading out to Chicago O'Hare or United Flight 1046. Moving on over to our next aircraft here, the highly beautiful Southwest Maryland 1 Boeing 747-700, which did fly into the airport on the day I'm filming this video. What a great coincidence there. Grateful the feature to spell in today's airport day. So this aircraft will be heading out to Kansas City or Southwest Flight 2250. Alright, moving on over to our next taxiing aircraft. So here the American Eagle ERJ-175. And this aircraft is operating for Flight AA 3712, and this is an envoy flight. It'll be heading out to Miami, Florida. Alrighty, moving on over to our next taxiing aircraft. We do indeed have a cargo aircraft in today's airport date. So the Prime Boeing 747-800 or the Jeff Bezos aircraft, whatever you want to call it. Oh, that's a small little joke there. And this aircraft is operating for Sun Country Airlines at Sun Country Flight 3001, and it'll be heading out to Cincinnati. So fun fact, Sun Country does operate some flights for Prime Air. They do operate a fleet around 10 747-800 BCFs. Really cool fact there, and yeah, cool to see Sun Country operating some Prime Air flights. Moving on to our next aircraft here, the beautiful Gemini that's Silver ATR 42. Yeah, with the missing nose landing gear. I wish the nose landing gear didn't fall off though, but yeah, so this aircraft will be doing a flight out to Jacksonville or Silver Flight 96. So really cool service indeed. And this is operating for an ATR 72 because Gemini hasn't released that model yet. Hopefully that model will come very soon. Moving on over to our next aircraft here, the beautiful NG model Sun Country Boeing 747-800. That great NG model, definitely one of my favorite models here. And grateful to include Sun Country in today's airport day. And this aircraft will be heading out to Minneapolis or Sun Country Flight 664. And moving on to our final aircraft in today's airport day. Here, the beautiful Copa Airlines Boeing 747-800. That great NG model released here. And grateful to include this model in today's airport day. And this aircraft will be heading out to Panama City. So this is a summer seasonal flight, but I wanted to include this aircraft in today's airport day, just because this is a pretty unique international airline for an airport size like New Orleans. So really cool to have this model in today's airport day. And alright, folks, that does conclude today's airport update. So yes, that is it for today's random airport update. So this was the fifth random airport update, and this was the update for October of 2022 of my New Orleans 1 scale model airport. So yes, this was a very fun airport update to make for you guys. So yes, if you may have noticed the lighting is slightly different just because I am filming this in the afternoon, and it's getting dark earlier soon. So I've been really busy with school recently, and so yeah, so. Yes, but yes, so here is the overview once again. My New Orleans Mile Airport Day. This was a fun random airport day to film for you guys. So, speaking of random airport days, so this will likely be the final random airport day for this year. Maybe you are shocked, but I want to provide you with a little reasoning behind it. So one reason is my school life has gotten pretty busy recently, and yes, these random airport dates, although they're fun, they do take a lot of time for me to film them just because I have to set up the airport. I have to do some research on how the airport is laid out. I have to do research on the airlines. I set up all the models, set up all the GSC, and it takes me quite a while to do it. It's about a couple hour process, and then having to disassemble this airport for the next Jacksonville airport update. It's a lot of work sometimes, especially when you're busy with school and when you're taking harder classes. You have a lot of work, and when you have a job and you have other circumstances as well, and other things you want to do in your life. It can be harder to film videos. So that's why my videos haven't been as frequent recently. I'm so sorry, but that's kind of how it's worked out recently, so I'm very sorry. But yes, don't worry though. So random airport dates will be suspended until next spring. So pretty unfortunate. I've just made that call, but just so I can just focus on my school life a little bit more and focus on some other projects I have planned for this YouTube channel. So yeah, so next random airport date will be likely in March or April. So it'll be a little while away, but I'm sorry. But yes, I do have some really fun ones planned for next summer. I cannot wait for those random airport dates, but that's in summer of 2023. A little bit away, but before you know it, they'll be back, so don't worry. So, yeah, don't worry. But anyways, so I want to provide you so you may be wondering what video content will replace this series, and the video content is a new model airport update series, which will be coming in December of 2022. And yes, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. I don't want to spoil much about it. It's gonna be a fun series. It's gonna be an airport update like none of the other ones I've done. It's going to be completely different than any other model airport I've ever done an airport update of. So that's your hint there. It's going to be a different airport update. It's going to be way different. It's going to be a fun airport day, and cannot wait for you all to enjoy that video. And yeah, feel free to guess what kind of airport day it will be. It'll be pretty wild to guess. So yes, cannot wait for it to come. And yeah, so content over the next couple of weeks. So it's yeah, so we'll have some content, like our next massive unboxing, our next Jacksonville Fictional Airport date. Likely a video covering the new Gemini November releases. Pretty interested to see what those are. Hopefully a Caribbean Max 8's in it. And yeah, so the next Norfolk Airport Day will be coming out in the first week in November. So yeah, so we'll be having some videos coming very soon. So just stay tuned. And yeah, November is not going to be a too busy month for me. There'll be two model airport dates, which will be Jacksonville and Norfolk. And there'll be another massive unboxing. There are likely maybe a couple of other videos as well. But yeah, so yes, this will be the last Mario Airport Day just for a little bit. So yes, and yeah. Anything else I want to say? I'm sorry about this video being a little bit jankier than normal, just because I'm just tired from school. It's been a busy week for me at school. I had to take like the PSAT, that kind of thing. So it's been busy. So sorry about that. So it's been busy. So that's why this airport day it's a little bit more jankier than normal. So sorry about that, and sorry about the lighting, especially at this end section, just because the sun has gone down. So I just want to get this video out for you guys on time on Friday. So yes, and yes, anything else I want to say? No, nothing else really. So yes, I did order some new models. I did order the new NG releases and the new HYLJ Wings releases. So that'll be in our 6th massive unboxing, not the next massive unboxing after that. And we should be getting a new NG September releases very soon, probably next week in that massive unboxing. So yes, cannot wait to unbox this model. So that is it for the channel update. So I'm JT Pilot, and I'd like to thank you all so much for watching this video. Have a wonderful day and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.